Some people think that what we do is dangerous because of the bears. And I wouldn't say it is like when you drug the bear, everything is very safe. I've been working for 21 years with polar bears now. You always, of course, have to look around yourself. Bears is not what we're afraid of. The most dangerous part of what we're doing is flying the helicopter. My name is Jon Aars, and I lead the polar bear monitoring program in Svalbard. Og 302 hodelengde. It is a privilege to be able to work, I think, in areas like this, if you like, a cold Arctic area. Not everybody do. We capture bear in March, April because sea ice conditions are good. It's practical. If you go later in summer, it's wet everywhere. It's danger that a bear that is sedated could drown, actually. The main question we have is how well the bears are doing, how changes in the environment with focus on sea ice might have on the polar bears. The period with sea ice around most of Svalbard is almost 4 months shorter than it was. So it's a very significant change.
Mente man var nærme nok, så var bare å hive I gang.
Okay, ja, det greit. There are several challenges in this environment. Of course, the climate. The helicopter is exposed to very cold temperatures. Together with the crew here on the boat, we help each other to get off and on the blades every day, actually. The perfect conditions for flying and landing is if we have no wind, sunny, clear sky, and good references on the ground.
If it is cold outside, if it's like -20 and a bit of wind, it is more challenging. You need good clothes, experience and good planning.
Footprints, polar bear footprints, just there. It's about 1 bear per 100 square kilometers, and we do not always find a bear. Sometimes it can be really frustrating. That said, we have a fair idea of what's their preferred habitat, and also we have a certain number of females with collars. This is a collar that we put on polar bears. We would get GPS position, but also information about the bear's activity and the temperature.
This is a security thing when you start the bear, so you don't fall out of the helicopter. So a bit like this. Some bears walk thousands of kilometers during a year, others are quite local and don't do that much. But we also know where to search. Often close to the coast, often in front of glaciers where they can catch ringed seals. In some cases you just spot the bears, and more frequently what you find is tracks. Then you follow the tracks if you think they are quite fresh, and you find bear or bears in the end of the tracks.
My main task is mainly the anesthesia of the bear. We fly around, and when we see a bear, we try to keep a fairly long distance. It is a stressful event for the bear, but we want to make it as safe as we can. This is a dart we use, and this is the needle that hits the bear. So when this goes into the bear like this rubber sleeve goes back, and then the drugs get pushed in. We shoot that with a dart gun. We're normally about 5 to 10 meters away from the bear, so they're quite close to the helicopter. The main problem is that they might get too warm, especially if they run, and say if you have to fly a few times so the bear is kind of running so you can't get a shot, then we might abort it and give the bear a rest. So when the bear is sedated, first of all, we approach the bear, we kind of tap it a little bit just to see that it is asleep. Then we give it oxygen through the nostril, and we use a pulse oximeter normally on the tongue. So that will give us oxygen saturation and a heart rate.
The first thing we check which condition the bear is in and see how big the bear is. If it's a female, you measure her body weight, and then you start taking a few samples, like blood samples, fat biopsy, hair samples. We are looking at ecotoxicology, levels of pollutants, genetics, where you can get some indication of what the bear has been eating. Så legger vi den på det.
Sånn. Så må jeg sjekke om det ikke går alt for litt da. Jeg tror det sitter bra, jeg.
The procedure would normally maybe take an hour. If he starts to wake up, we have to avoid that. But the bear will give us some clues to that. He starts to get movement in the tongue, and starts to open the eyes and start blinking. We just watch it until we get these reflexes back and we know now it's waking up as planned, so that when he's waking up, then we're not there to stress it out.
We still see that bears are doing well, which is sort of a surprise, I think. They have actually increased their body conditions, and we don't see a very significant change in reproduction. But it could be that it's not a linear thing. It could be that you suddenly get a threshold where you see that it goes more badly. And we have seen that in many other parts of the Arctic. Most likely they will start struggling because it's likely there is a critical period, how long they can be without sea ice.
If the weather turns bad, which can happen quite quickly on Svalbard, then the safest thing to do for us is just to land, and we just have to sit tight and wait for better weather, which usually comes.
Polar bears are fascinating, I think, because they are big, charismatic animals. They are living in an environment that most people think is very, very challenging. Certainly, when you captured hundreds of bears, it is different, you know, the first year and after 20 years. But it's still special to see a bear every time.